that was back in 2012. I made that using the floppy disk drive that was going to be thrown away from school. So I had to ask for permission if I can get some for me to experiment on. And I made this procedure, this instructions on how to do that on a very cool website that I used to be a very active member of. It's called Instructables. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Instructables, but it's a very wonderful and informative website. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys for today. I'm going to share with you how to do that, to do the musical floppy drives, and I hope you like it. Okay, so I'm currently in my account, Instructable accounts. As you can see, Instructables is actually a DIY community for all the different types of category. Like we have a category for circuits, we have a category for workshop, for craft, for cooking, for living, for outside, and also for teachers. And I've been a member since 2010. I've got a recent badge for getting almost a 2 million views already, and I have 19 submitted Instructables. As you can see, I did many Instructables, from modifying the Samsung IR sensitivity to of course Photoshop hacking, to doing some Arduino activities, also painting your pants. So these are the types of Instructables that you can submit in this website. So let's just click on this one, and then I'm gonna explain how I did this along the way. I've also got an Imperial March in Star Wars. And yeah, that's the reason why I actually did this, is because my brother posted a video on Facebook about Toccata and Fugu. That's the first musical floppy drive that I actually got inspiration from. This is it. And then what do you need in order for you to make this musical floppy drive? Of course, the very first thing that you need is an Arduino. What I used, however, is an Arduino clone, because Arduino Uno back then was super expensive, so I had no choice but to avail of a more cheaper version, which is the clone version made by Gizmo, eGizmo. And then of course floppy disk drives. If you have floppy disk drives gathering dust in your homes, this is the best time to make use of them. Of course, a power supply, ATX power supply is preferable. If you have an extra power supply from a system unit that you're not using anymore, you can use that as your power supply for this project. And then UTP cable. The only reason why I wanted to use UTP cable is because of the wires are colored, and you need a lot of wires for this particular project. Breadboard, if you want a solderless free project, and then of course soldering iron and lead. Cutter, Phillips flathead screwdrivers. Basically, this is all of the materials that you need for this project. So the first thing you need to do is you need to prepare your power supply. So how do you do that? Your power supply, if you're using ATX power supply, you'll have the following connector. So again, it depends on you. You can use 5-volt power supply available, but since an ATX power supply is just lying around the house, it would probably it would be pretty convenient to use it here. So however, if you just have the black power supply without the motherboard to activate it, because a power supply only activates if you connect it on a motherboard. So in order for you to supply, or in order for you to activate the power supply, you need to do the following. You need to connect the black and green wires, together. That's why there's a wire in here. That's what you need to connect in order to activate your ATX power supply. So for the next step, all you need to do is determine the needed pins for your floppy drives. I've included there a picture and image of the pin assignments for the floppy drives. All you need to do is try to check on this one, drive selection B, and this pin should be connected together. For the direction, this pin and then this pin should be connected together as indicated for a green wire, and then this pin for the step, because this floppy drives usually use stepper motor. You need to connect those as indicated by the blue wire. So like what I said earlier, you need to determine 3 pins to make the floppy drive sing. If you look at the back of your floppy drive, you would see 34. These 34 pins. Just check on the image to determine which is pin 1 and so on. Yeah, I've included it there. The top pins are the even pins, while the bottom pins are the odd pins. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on, and then these are odd numbers. The even number pins are activated by grounding them. Basically, computers have up to 2 floppy drives, A and B. Doesn't really matter which drive you connect or your wires to. If you want to set your floppy drive to drive B, then connect wires to pin 12 and 11 for the ground. If you want to set your floppy drives to drive A, then connect your wires to pin 14 and 13 for the ground. But to avoid further complications, just select drive B pins 12 and 11. So this is pin 12 and 11. So 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Oh, 14. This is drive B. 14 and 13. So 13. And then another pin that we are interested in is the direction pin, 18, which is pin 18, and then 17 for the ground. So the direction pin is this even number, that's the direction pin, and then 17 for the ground. You need to connect them together. And then finally, the last pin that we need to connect the wires to is the step pin 20 and 19. So for the step pin, we have pin 20 and then pin 19 for the ground. So note, if you still have the flat ribbon cable, then I suggest that you use it instead of soldering wires directly to the pin, because yeah, as far as I could remember, it's kind of hard to solder these pins because the pins are very close to each other. Just as you can see, what I did is I actually put on paper in the middle just so the soldering lead wouldn't touch with each other, so that it was quite difficult. I can remember soldering them together. So if you have a flat ribbon cable, I suggest that you use that instead. So for step 3, you have to test your floppy drive if it's working before connecting them to your Arduino. So connect your floppy to your power supply and test the stepper motor. Notice that if you connect your floppy drive to the power supply, nothing is happening. That is because you need to connect pins 11 and 12 to activate it. To activate your floppy, you need to permanently connect the drive, select pins 11 and 12. So you can go on twist those wires like what I did here, or solder them together. You can easily determine if you have the wires connected. Once you connect the wires attached to the pins 11 and 12, the light of the floppy drive should turn on as indicated here. Next thing you need to do is to check on the direction and step pins. Connecting the green wires together, pins 17 and 18 would make your stepper move forward. So that's the importance of the stepper motor. If you connect them together, that's how the floppy disk move forward. So to activate stepper motor, you just need to tap the blue wires, which is connected to the step pins, moving the stepper motor backward. All you need to do is connect your green wires, then activate your stepper by tapping the blue wires as indicated here. So for your Arduino, how we'll connect the following. So connect pins 17 and 19 together to the common ground of your Arduino, since these are ground, except for this one. So connect this to activate your floppy drive. You have to ground them, this one. And then for connect your direction pin 18 to pin 3 of your Arduino, and your step pin 20 to pin 2 of your Arduino. So for the second drive, all you need to do is connect the direction pin 18 to pin 5 and step pin 20 to pin 4. Third drive's pin 18 to pin 7 and step pin 20 to pin 6, and so on. So for the software, preparing the software, we actually need 5 different softwares for you to operate and make this work. First off, you need the Arduino software, of course, to upload your program, to burn your program to your Arduino. It's the Arduino IDE. And then the timer one, you can download the timer, the following. It's a library that you need here. Timer. It's a library, a timer library that you need for your Arduino. This is you need the following, of course, in order for you to connect to your Java, which will play the MIDI file for your musical floppy drives. And of course, you need NetBeans, JDK, VU4 with NetBeans 7.1.2. I haven't updated this, but for sure there's going to be a much updated version. This was uploaded like almost a decade ago. Let's see if it still works. Okay. It's already 8.0.2 version. And then the Moppy software Java Arduino code developed by Sammy IM, the one that has uploaded the original floppy musical drive. So you can download the Java code here. Let's see if it's still active. Yeah, it's in his GitHub account and it's still active. And then finally, of course, the RxTX.com serial driver. So your Arduino would be able to communicate with your Java, with your PC, of course, and then your Java software. So first, what you need to do to prepare your software is you need to establish a connection to your Arduino. How would you do that? You just have to upload. Of course, select the correct model of Arduino and then upload the timer1 library to your Arduino. And then once you're done downloading and installing everything, especially the Arduino software, Java with NetBeans, establish a communication between your Arduino and your computer. You may also need to set up everything on the hardware side, connect your floppy drives and your power supply. Before copying the code, make sure that the timer1 file is saved to the library folder of your Arduino. Remember that. So setting up NetBeans, that's the final step. Open your NetBeans and load up the Moppy desk, the project developed by Sammy IM. You can choose to open it through his GitHub or just download the file below. You just make sure that once you download the following file, copy the file to the NetBeans projects folder, usually located at My Documents for Windows. Once you have the Moppy desk project open, run it by clicking on the green play button. This is where you would encounter the RxTX problem. That's the main reason why we need to download that in order for your Arduino to connect to your Java. If not, then good for you. A new window should appear. However, if you do encounter it, download the rxdx.com jar and rxdxparallel.dll and serial DLL files. After downloading, just be sure to copy the following to its respective folders here. So if you're still encountering the problem, just message me. Okay, that's my that's my disclaimer. But I haven't been able to answer all of the queries here. The last time I've actually accessed this account was like 7 years ago. So I haven't been able to update this account lately. I haven't even been able to read all of the messages and comments in this page. So if all goes well, a new window will appear. The Moppy desk window will then ask for the Arduino port. Just choose the correct port for your Arduino. That's the COM port where your Arduino is connected. And then just upload the MIDI file. And once you have uploaded the MIDI file, it will play and click on the play button on your Java on the NetBeans. It will translate that MIDI file into a set of codes that would move the stepper motor and create a certain sound. So that's how basically the musical floppy drive works. So you can, if you wanted to study this particular Instructables more, you can follow me. My handle is analog-chick, and access how to make musical floppy drives, and give me a comment. You can also download the PDF version of this. So that's it for our Arduino clone. Stay tuned for more Arduino hacks. So please subscribe to my channel and see you next time.